Yesterday, November 3, 2021, I got a root canal. Now, I know many of you are probably turning the video off and moving on because you don't want to hear about it. Yeah, I get that. But it really has a happy ending. So bear with me here. And I'm going to go way back to my childhood when I remember my mom used to always say, Rocky, you better brush your teeth more, they're going to fall out. Or worse yet, you'll have to have a root canal. And then she described the horror of having a root canal. Oh, and when you're a kid, those initial images stay with you a lifetime. Similarly, someone told me once when I was a kid, oh, I went to the dentist and he hit my nerve. And it's like, wow, it was really horrible. Well, every time since I was a kid, even to recent times, when I'm in the dentist chair, I am white knuckling the chair because I'm waiting for him to hit a nerve at some point. The reality is he's never hit a nerve ever. I've never really had any discomfort other than the grinding and the noise and the vibration. I've never really had a bad experience of pain, but yet it still sticks with me. Oh, he's going to hit a nerve. Well, the same thing with a root canal. You have those visions of getting in there with these grinding tools and forceps and who knows, tin snips or pry bars. It's nothing like that really. So anyways, I had this issue with a tooth. It's been going on for a couple of years, really minor. And then last week, oh boy, it decided to flare up. And I sat there for hours, pushing my hand into the side of my face, pinching myself to try to make a worse pain than I felt in my tooth. My face is still kind of numb and maybe black and blue on the inside from that. That kind of was effective. But the pain would come and go. I got into the dentist. The first appointment was going to be like in February of next year. It's like, really? I think something's got to happen before that. So anyways, I got an emergency visit to the dentist. He looks at it and he kind of goes through and x-rays and checks everything out. And this has been ongoing for actually maybe a couple years. And he said, it doesn't look like there's a crack there. I don't really see a deep cavity. Don't really know what's going on other than, perhaps inside the tooth is inflamed. Well, that's gone on for a while. But when this flared up last week, I went into the dentist again and he tapped on it and did all kinds of stuff. Says, yep, no crack. I don't see a cavity. Perhaps that inflammation is worse and you're probably going to have a root canal. Oh boy, root canal. All these visions of my childhood come back. So I just said, okay, what do we go from here? So he schedules an emergency. I guess it's an emergency because within just a couple of days, I got into an endodontist. Different. They specialize in just root canals. What a great career that is. Anyhow, we got that scheduled. I went through the weekend, and interesting enough, my wife prayed for me one night that the pain would go away, etc. The next day, pain totally gone, never returned. Now I did some research and I thought, well, perhaps the nerve died, but they don't typically die overnight like that. They typically take a while to fade away. But anyways, I'm happy that the pain was gone. So anyways, I'm still going to go through with this root canal. I want the root canal guy to verify, that I don't need one. That's what I'm hoping. So get in there, get in the chair, and it's really, really settling for you to go to the website because the website says, oh, they'll make you feel real comfortable. They'll do all the checks and they'll just make sure that you really need it before that they go through with it, and they'll only go through it with your approval. Thought, well, I'm comfortable with that. It ain't quite that way. They're still wanting to make their money. So anyways, I get into the chair. I tell him the story, and he says, well, I don't really see a crack there. I don't really see a cavity, but you do have a really deep filling. Who knows what's hidden behind that deep filling? I'm telling you, you could walk out of here today and be fine, and then sometime down the road, you're going to have to come back here and get a root canal. Yeah, that's where they drop the ball on you. Like, okay, it's up to you, and we're okay with that, but you're going to pay the consequences later on. So I'm running this through my mind, and I thought, well, did God really heal this thing, or did he just kill the nerve real quick and end my pain and suffering? Perhaps he did. And if that's what he did, I am fine with that. But the dentist, he puts that pressure on you, or the endodontist, he put that little pressure on to leave it on me like, wow, what happens in the end? You're going to have to come back here, and then it's on you. Well, then I thought again, perhaps it's best that I just go through it, because if I walk out of here, I'm going to feel like I wimped out. You know what? I'm going to go through with it, because who knows, someday I may have to have this anything anyway. I'm just going to go through with the root canal. So I says, okay, walk me through this. Well, he kind of walked me through it, but not very well explained, but I just grinned and bared it and said, all right, let's go. So here's what they do in a root canal procedure, just so you know. And this is not a dentist, this is an endodontist. Dentist does it perhaps a little bit more crudely, not sure, but I can't speak for them. The endodontist does this. First of all, they shoot you with Novocaine like they usually do. Now, I got to give this guy credit, because I've had this done before where, I say like, wow, I'm pretty sensitive with my teeth. I really want to make sure that, I don't come out of this chair. And I've had the dentist put that stuff in there, and wow, my whole shoulder just goes limp for like the rest of the night. I kind of expected that, but he didn't. He put it in a right spot. He numbed just the teeth, part of my tongue, and he came in and says, "Is it tingling there yet?" I says, "Yeah, that's it." Well, then they give you a couple more shots in the tooth, and I think under the teeth or something like that. And those actually hurt a little bit, even though they're numbed when they go in. So I guess that's why they wait till after you're initially numbed. So anyway, it's pretty well numbed, but it's still not like my whole left side is going limp. I'm thinking this ain't even gonna stop any kind of pain. It did. I did a great job with that. So when we're all ready to go, I said, "Do you want me to put on headphones or something? You think that'd be okay to kind of cover up the sound?" He said, "Well, yeah, if you want to." He didn't seem too concerned. Well, I did. I played a documentary, so it kind of got my mind engaged. So I think that was beneficial. And I says, "Now you're going to go in there with files, right?" He goes, "Yeah, files." Well, the files are still on a rotary motor, and they're about that long, and they look pretty sinister and nasty. But we'll get to that in a minute. So he gets ready to go, puts this little latex thing on it with a hole in it, pops it over that single tooth. Did a great job. It's not like that. I've done it before where I'm like, for an hour, you start getting muscle cramps in your mouth. It was actually pretty comfortable. And then he fires up his main drill. And what he does is he drills a hole just through the top of your tooth, so he can get access to the softer nerve tissue inside there. And then they loosen that up with the burrs, and they withdraw that all out. It's not like they grind the whole tooth out. So you can feel the initial grinding going in the top, makes the hole. And then I can hear a different, higher pitched thing going in there and cleaning up some stuff. Then he goes in with those files that he calls them, and they're actually a slower RPM, it seems like. Not so bad as I expected. But it takes about, I think, 40 to 45 minutes for that whole grinding it out and filling in procedure. But as he's going and taking out the nerve tissue in there, I'm expecting that I've got a dead tooth perhaps, and I'm all numbed up. I shouldn't feel anything. Well, I got to admit, there are a few times where you can feel them hitting a nerve. But don't let that stop you, because it's like a nanosecond. Yeah, well, it's a couple more nanoseconds to go. But each one is like a, ooh, oh, and then, oh, well, and you quickly forget it. It's like you're driving along and you suddenly hit, whoa, a chipmunk, ba-boom. Well, yeah, you don't want to, you feel bad for a moment, but come on, it is a chipmunk. So you've got this little nanosecond, a tinge like that, and another one. It's not really that bad, and you can really, if you pay attention, you can feel them getting all the way down to the bottom, and they get it all cleaned out, and then they start stuffing back in this some kind of a rubbery material, I guess. And they fill the whole thing back up, except to the top where they leave a little gap. Then they take x-rays again to make sure they got it all and seal it up, and then they send you home. Well, I'm waiting for the next part of the journey, which is they got to go back to the dentist and they grind a part off the top of your tooth now, and they put a cap on. I'm not sure what to do with that. I don't know I'm going to continue this series of videos either, but I really thought that I had to clarify my lifelong horror of actually getting a root canal wasn't that bad. So if the dentist ever says to you, looks like you need a root canal, well, of course, it's not like going to the movies, but no need to dread it. Just make sure you do your due diligence and you get, somebody who's reputable, read their website, and make sure that they are going to comfort you and have you all your questions answered. Oh, but one thing, I got to say this. There is one bad part about this, which I was shocked. At one point, I was just gagging, and the endodontist says, "What's the matter?" And of course, you can't talk without the thing in your mouth like that. So I just thought, plug my nose like that, and he goes, "Oh, yeah, okay." And then he continued on. I gotta say, that is the most atrocious smell I've ever experienced. Whatever they're grinding out in there, I didn't open my eyes, but I can imagine just plumes of brown smoke coming out of my mouth, and then I'm smelling this stuff. It's like the exact opposite of smelling grilling hamburger or steak. It's like, oh, what is that? It's that stuff inside the nerve tissue that's burning up. But if that's worse than the pain, that's a great trade-off. Anyways, if you ever have to get a root canal, don't dread it. Just go through with it. On the other side, you'll probably be really glad you did.